Hey, what is going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be telling you guys my approach on, a new lake, getting to a new lake, what I like to do, approaching it, trying to break it down, trying to find a pattern, stuff like that. So as you can see, I got some baits laid out here. Not going to quite get into them yet. First, I want to talk about what you do before you even get to the lake. I like to check the weather like 5 days leading up to the day I'm going fishing. That way I can see if the temperature's been stable. And if it's stable, good for me. I mean, that's good. You want that. The bass won't be turned off by like a sudden cold front. So that's one thing. You want to check the weather. A lot of guys check the weather the day of, but it's important to check the weather, like I said, around 5 days leading up to the day you are going to be going. Next thing I want to talk about is, finding information on the lake. If you don't know the lake, it's a new lake to you, you don't know it, you want to find as much information as possible on different things about the lake, like cover, structure, primary forage, stuff like that. Once you find that, there's a few different places you can find those. You can find it on different forums, forums about maybe from that state about the lake. You can find it on different reports from maybe like a guide, like a guide's reports, stuff like that. Or there's a website called bassgold.com, and what Bass Gold does is they have pattern reports from, like, I think it's since like the 1960s or something like that. Pattern reports of I think it's like thousands or hundreds of different lakes, and they've got thousands of different reports on tournaments, and they have all in graph form, like how that tournament was won, using what baits, on what cover, what structure, what time of the year, stuff like that. And also they got like the winning weight for the tournament. And so you can go and say if you're going to a certain lake in the spawn, and you're in the north, the spawn's usually April, May, so you can check off the little box for April and May. For that lake, you got to do the drop down bar for that state and the drop down bar for that lake. Just click those, really easy. And then just, click April and May, or, March, April, May, something like that. And then it'll show you, and you'll press submit, submit, generate, something like that. And and all the information will come up in graphs. You'll get what won the tournament, what baits won the tournament, what cover won the tournament, and what the winning weight was. Now the winning weight is very important to know, because say you're at the lake and you're catching all 2-pounders all day, and the winning weight was 20 pounds, then you need to, make a move, do something else, because, if you're catching 2-pounders all day, 5-fish limit for that is only 10 pounds. So you need to, find a different pattern and fish something different to, be able to win it. So that's basically what you want to do, what I like to do before I get to the lake. Just check out everything. So I'm going to get into, the baits and everything now. You guys see me, I got separated into 3 different categories, I guess. 1, 2, 3. And the first category here are all the fast-moving baits. They're called search baits. They search for fish. You can, move fast with them, stuff like that. I got spinner bait, lipless crankbait, square bill crankbait, and a buzz bait. So depending on the different forage, the different cover, and I guess the different time of year, you're going to fish these baits, like time in and time out first. That's what I like to do. Say, the primary forage is, shad or whatever, shad, and you're fishing, around cover that's like, maybe a little bit of grass, on a shallow shoreline, a little bit of grass, some wood, then maybe I'd pick the spinner bait. I like to, use usually a 3/8 ounce spinner bait, double blade usually, and very important to have a trailer hook on there. Say it's very early spring and the grass is just starting to come in. Maybe I'll throw the rattle trap, the lipless crankbait, so you can just rip it through that grass without getting hung up too much, but you'll still get that nice reaction strike from ripping it through. Maybe if there's like almost no grass, just a lot of sunken wood on the shoreline. Shallow wooded areas. Maybe I'll throw the square bill crankbait. This one's a Lucky Craft RC 2.5. Maybe I'll throw that in that situation. And then maybe it's the morning, and there's some wood, there's some grass, there's a couple different types of cover around. Maybe I'll fish the buzzbait. It's really up to you. You just gotta, you're not gonna be fishing the rattle trap if there's, really heavy grass. You're not gonna be doing that. So you just it's up to you, and it's up to the type of place you're fishing, what search bait you start out with. So once you've done that, you've located some fish on a certain shoreline, but maybe you think there's a few more fish there, so you want to slow down a little bit. Right here, so this is the next category right here. I got a swim jig. Swim jig, yes, you are reeling, but you're also not always reeling. Maybe you could let it fall, do some pops with it. You're not exactly fishing it as fast as these baits. So that's why I have that in the middle, kind of. And that's, you could fish this, through, mid to heavy grass. You could fish it through heavy grass, and you wouldn't get hung up very much. Or you could fish it over the top of the grass. There's different things you could do with it. Next thing I got here is a jerk bait. This is like a 4-inch, maybe a 4.5-inch jerk bait. With this, again with the pre-spawn, ripping it through the grass, maybe fishing it near the rocks, chunk rock, or pea gravel points, chunk rock points, stuff like that. And that's after fishing maybe the rattle trap, and getting a couple bites with it, but you still know that there's still some fish there, so you go to the jerkbait a little bit slower. So that's when you'd use those mid running baits that go not slow but not really fast. So that's what I like to do then. After that, if I'm not getting many bites on that or whatever, or there's still fish there that I know that need a really, really slow presentation, I'll go with one of these slow moving baits. Either a flipping jig like this one. This is the the NewTek Lures jig. You guys have seen that jig. Flipping jig, or I'll flip a soft plastic with a tungsten bullet weight, just Texas rigged. This is the Power Team Lures 3.5-inch Texas rig jig. I'll do that, and I'll pick up some fish on those. Maybe it's just a lot of times the less active fish will go after the a really, really slow presentation. So that's good to do that. Also, a lot of times the fish that you'll get on the really slow presentations could be bigger because the smaller fish are more aggressive and they go after fast moving baits, and the big fish need to really be kind of finessed, I guess you can say, and you need to fish really slow for them in order for them to think about it and then bite your lure. So if all this stuff isn't getting me very many bites at all, I'll resort to a worm. This is the 6-stick by Power Team Lures. I'll resort to that, and I'll just wacky rig it usually, and this will always get bites. So if I need to, I'll go to this. I'm not gonna say I don't like fishing it. I do like fishing it because it gets a lot of bites, but I kind of want to fish new baits. I started out throwing this bait. Everyone starts out throwing a worm. Most people do anyway. So it's good to expand your knowledge in bass fishing, fish new baits. The spinner baits, the crank baits, jerk baits, jigs, stuff like that. And if all that doesn't really work on a body of water on a specific day, I'll go to the worm, just because it does get bites. But try all this stuff out first, And I'm not saying you have to stick to exactly what I do. I don't even stick to that all the time. Sometimes maybe I'll skip the middle step, or I'll skip something. It's just play around with it. It's all about your personal preference. So thanks for watching this, guys. Stay tuned for some more videos. I'll be getting a cool fishing video up to you guys soon because the ice is just starting to melt, and I'm going to be catching some fish soon, guys. So subscribe. Thanks for watching.
the water, find a way